Erskine, you're fired.
Why, Mr. Wood, what is wrong?
You! It is your idea we come up to this forsaken hole over the weekend. If I die of pneumonia, it'll be your debt to society.
Mr. Wood, I tried to be a competent secretary, but I have absolutely no control over the elements. How did I know it was going to rain? See, the paper says fair and warmer.
That's last week's paper. You're still fired. How much further do we go?
Won't be long now, Mr. Wood.
Well, it better not be. Something the matter?
I guess we're stuck.
You guess you're stuck. What are you trying to do? Kill me?
Oh, no, it's not as serious as that. We just skidded into a fallen tree.
Don't stand there. Don't stand there like a trained seal. Suggest something.
I'm sorry, sir, but I never did work well underwater.
I know this part of the country intimately. There are several houses nearby. We can walk to one of them.
Swim, you mean?
I see a light down that way.
You couldn't see a light if you looked at the forest fire.
Mr. Ames. Oh, hello, Caraway. I'm sorry. I didn't recognize this as Dr. Kent's house.
Just a moment, Ames. I don't know who this Dr. Kent is, but I'm getting out of the storm even if it's to be the missing link.
Yeah. Coming in, Mr. Ames?
Ames! Well, this is a surprise. Good to see you.
Yes, I suppose it is a surprise. We skidded off the road, hit a tree, and became mired in mud, and yours is the nearest house. Oh, pardon me, Dr. Kent. This is Herman Wood, the famous theatrical producer. You no doubt have heard of him, even if you haven't met him.
Delighted, Mr. Wood. You're courageous to face the storms we have up here.
Courageous. Insane, you mean? How do you do that?
And,
All wet.
I agree with you for once.
Hello, Gloria. Glad to see me.
More than you know. A certain gentleman here doesn't take our engagement seriously.
Terry. Hello, Ames. How do you do?
Gloria. This is Mr. Wood, Mr. Erskine, Miss Shaw, and Mr. Terry Gray.
Oh, Mr. Wood, I've heard so much about you.
Yeah, I was afraid of that. How are you, young man?
Still quite normal, thank you. Nice of you all to drop in like this. Your idea, wasn't it, Ames? After all, you were invited.
That had nothing to do with it, and I assure you I wouldn't be here now if I could help it. We were just driving to my place where Mr. Wood was going to hear me read my latest play.
Another play, Preston? My, you are prolific.
Well, play or no play, I ought to be in New York, in bed.
Well, I'm afraid you'll have to remain my guest for the night. My chauffeur tells me the roads are completely out. Oh, forgive me for keeping you in these wet things. I'll have Caraway show you to some rooms immediately. Then you'll join us for a cocktail before dinner for your staying, of course.
Well, I like the cocktail part of the program.
Oh, Caraway, take Mr. Ames and his friends upstairs immediately. Owing to the storm, they're going to stay for the evening.
Yes, sir. This way, please.
Who are you? Why, you tell her. I'm beginning to be uncertain of everything.
Why, this is Mr. Wood. I'm Mr. Erskine, his secretary.
I pity you so much. You're surrounded by tragedy and sorrow.
Oh, you are psychic, Beatrice. Mr. Wood is the greatest producer of tragedies and dramas in the country.
You mean he was?
Hey, Ames, about this play of yours.
Why, yes, it's in my bag. As long as we can't reach my place, why not let me read it to you here?
Look here. I've just remembered an important appointment tomorrow in the city. I must return tonight. Isn't that right?
Yes, absolutely. He has to address the Travelers' Aid Society on the proper way to fold a timetable.
My dear Mr. Wood, I would gladly assist you, but until the storm abates, there's no way of reaching the city.
Well, we may as well accept the situation, Mr. Wood. We'll have a good dinner and then retire to Dr. Kent's study for a nice, quiet reading. Perhaps it'll make you appreciate my play all the more. They say a full stomach breeds tolerance.
Well, something tells me I shall need it.
Mr. Ames, this is your room. You've used it before. This way, gentlemen, please. This is yours, sir. Right. And this is yours.
Just a moment. Have that coat dried out.
Yes, sir. Right away, sir. Anything else, sir?
Yes, close the door when you go out.
Yes, sir.
Well, the ghost walks tonight or never.
You don't sound very hopeful.
To the contrary. Not only hopeful, but brave. I'm going to ask you to marry me and go to California, where the sun always shines and the oranges fall from the trees to your breakfast table.
Oh, that's a beautiful picture on a stormy night like this. But with or without the oranges and sunshine, you know I won't marry you, Terry, because I love someone else. Terry!
Pardon me? You're not a very easy man to discourage, are you? You forget that Gloria here is engaged to a mutual friend of ours.
I don't think that's any of your business.
Look here, Gray. I don't like your attitude. In fact, I don't think I like anything about you.
So what?
Why must you two always act like gladiators? Be sensible. Tonight of all nights must not be the time for any discord. You know I've never given you cause to think of me as more than a friend.
That depends on your viewpoint. I might argue that statement.
I'd like to give you the thrashing you deserve for those insinuations.
Please.
We'll discuss this later.
Erskine. Did you hear that scream?
Yes, you sounded like a grand opera star with acute indigestion.
Worse than that. Sounded like something on the humor.
Oh, pure imagination. If I allowed a noise like that to scare me, your voice would have killed me long ago.
Look here. Are you trying to insinuate I'm afraid? I'm just nervous, that's all. What kind of a madhouse is this, anyway?
Don't be so excitable. It's probably your liver acting up again. Have you your pills?
My pills. Any of you folks here scream?
Yes, it frightened me, too.
Yes, I can't understand where it came from.
Tell them where it came from, Ames. You've heard it before. Why scare your friends unnecessarily?
Perhaps you're right. Any scream you may have heard probably came from Beatrice's room. She's Dr. Kent's patient and Mr. Gray's sister. You met at the foot of the stairs. She's just a little irrational at times.
Well, as far as I know, it's nothing to worry about, simply emotional outbursts.
Don't you just love a night like this? This old house seems to belong in the rain and thunder. I read a book once about an old, old house, and oh, I don't know how many murders happen on just such a night as this.
Was that the clock?
Yes, I guess so. I think so. It must have been. But it's a union clock.
What do you mean?
Well, it strikes any old time.
What's the matter with Beatrice?
Yes, John. I am waiting for you. I am waiting.
That woman gives me goose pimples.
I've seen saner people than her in asylums.
I'm sorry this had to happen. Beatrice's spells are unnerving to a stranger, but after one gets to know her...
Know her. Say, if I never see her again, I'll be satisfied. Now, if you'll be so kind as to find some method for me to leave this house, see that I take it.
Oh, Prescott, we couldn't let you do that with your friends.
I think your friend is unduly alarmed, Ames.
Oh, is that so? Well, who asked you?
He has high blood pressure. He should calm himself.
Oh.
Miss Beatrice's actions are nothing to fear. She simply dwells in the unknown. As her attending physician, I can speak freely. The girl suffers from hallucinations and the shock of a tragedy that occurred in this house 3 years ago this night. Mr. Ames remembers that night very distinctly, no doubt. That's why he shuns my house.
Dr. Kent, I see no reason for making my sister's grief public talk.
I'll bet the doctor's going to tell us about some terrible operation.
That ought to be cheerful.
The unsolved murder of your sister's husband must be public talk in this house.
Murder?
I have taken notes on her actions since that night, and each year, at this hour, the flutter of that sound is heard, and she has acted as though the spirit of John, her dead husband, had returned to her. That's all there is to it.
Erskine, we're leaving.
Dinner is served, sir.
No, we're not. Ghosts or no ghosts, we're eating.
We're leaving. You're disobeying my orders.
No, I'm not. You fired me an hour ago.
Gloria, Mr. Ames, Mr. Wood, Mr. Erskine. Hope you're all as hungry as I am.
Just give me an aspirin.
Just give me anything but a tomato surprise. I've had shocks enough.
This is about as cheerful as an undertaker's picnic in a cemetery.
You're right on time, John. I was so afraid you might disappoint me.
Mr. Wood, I think you're right. We better leave, now that John's here.
Yes, Erskine, I'm not a cowardly man by nature, but my nerves won't stand this any longer. That woman is dangerous.
My friends, please. I regret these unusual disturbances, but I've experienced these same phenomena in my patient's presence before. There's nothing to fear from the dead. I believe in spirits, but only spirits.
Hear me?
Beatrice, please, your brother wishes you to restrain yourself.
My dear brother seems frightened, as well he should be, just like all the rest of you are.
Please, Beatrice, there are guests here, friends of Mr. Ames.
What do they mean to me? You, Terry Gray. You, Miss Gloria Shaw. And you, my delightful friends, know what that blood stain is. You were at this table the night poor John fell forward and stained the cloth with his own blood. The night he was murdered. By one of you.
Why, that's a lie.
Open that door.
Claire, I'll call the police. Oh, this is outrageous.
Open that door.
Unloosen that portal.
I'm sorry, Miss Beatrice's orders are that no one leave.
Jarvis is only partly correct. I gave that order.
What's the idea?
The idea, my friend, is to protect my patient's health. Any interruption might cause the loss of her sanity. You want the responsibility for that on your shoulders?
I think you're as crazy as she is.
Don't aggravate him.
They're all dangerous.
Everyone will please sit down.
You can't frighten me into anything. I don't know who killed your husband, but I believe your brother can tell you.
I thought you'd try to insinuate something like that, and I'm glad you did. Now I can voice what I've suspicioned these past years. You were jealous of John. You wanted to marry Beatrice for money. You, a penniless hack playwright. She preferred John, and you killed him.
There's always been insanity in your family.
Wait. He's right. I, too, always thought you killed John. You're unscrupulous enough to have done it.
That's enough of that kind of talk. You aren't free from suspicion either. As John's cousin, you inherited more money from his death than I did.
How dare you say that?
I can't listen any longer. In the name of humanity, allow Erskine and I to get out of here before they kill each other.
I appreciate that we have outside witnesses to what is going to happen. There is a murderer in this room, and we're going to find him.
John, tell me the person who killed you. Speak quickly.
Why don't you admit it?
Hurry, before it is too late.
You'll talk now or I'll break your neck.
Lights! John! John! Speak to me, John!
Jarvis, turn on those lights.
Why, where's Beatrice?
Why, I don't know.
Dr. Kent, I demand I be allowed to leave this room.
And I'm with you. Remember my years of devotion to you. Divided we arrive, but united we leave.
Of course, I'd give anything in the world if this hadn't happened. Jarvis, open that door.
Oh, Mr. Wood, I'll see you later.
You'll not see me later. Not for a month, not for 10 years. I'm getting out of here.
And so ends the first act of my little play.
Oh, darling, it was wonderful.
Well, we certainly scared those two.
Nelson Wood's famous for his temper. Isn't it remarkable how they reacted almost exactly as you had written them into your play?
I'm tired, and we've 2 more acts to go.
Well, you're as clever a group of actors as I've ever seen. And I've got Glory to thank for finding you.
Didn't I tell you they were troopers?
You don't think we frightened them too much, do you?
What's the difference?
It's a blooming order play, ain't it?
Oh, Jarvis, go get Beatrice. Good old Beatrice. She certainly played her part well.
Yay, but I was afraid she wouldn't scram before the lights turned up. Beatrice, are you hurt? Beatrice, what's the matter? Speak.
She's dead.
This isn't my room.
No. And whoever it does belong to has a gun.
A gun?
No, let's don't annoy.
Oh, shut up. This may come in handy.
A manuscript. The Ghost Walks by Prescott Ames.
As the group seat themselves at the table, the vacant chair also moves out, as if an invisible person was preparing to sit down. All eyes are on the chair. As the vacant chair slides back to the table, Beatrice addresses its invisible occupant. Beatrice speaks. You are right on time, John. Erskine, we've been witnessing a dress rehearsal of Ames's horror play.
You mean all those scares were part of the play?
Certainly. Wait. Here, let's try it again. Here, listen to this.
I'm afraid my play has been surpassed. We have a real menace in this house.
Well, there was no one in the house but us, and we were all in the dining room.
I know I was.
That's right, because I was struggling with you. I was sending you the light switch.
Yes, and I was at the table, as you all know.
I was playing ghosts. I was all over the room. But I didn't do it, I tell you. I didn't do it.
Of course you did. Now, don't lose your head. Don't any of us.
A death-like face slowly appears in the dark, ghostly white and pallor. The face seems to float as it reaches the table. Beatrice, hysterically. John! Lights out. Everyone remains where standing with the exception of Beatrice, who disappears through a door in the kitchen. So they thought they'd impress me with their phony theatricals, eh? Me, who staged the burning of Rome while the gladiators were being gored to death in the animal pits. I wasn't scared a bit.
Neither was I.
No, what are you doing under the table?
Well, I was looking for you.
Ridiculous. I hate cowards. When we get back to town, remind me to fire you.
Let the play continue.
Now that the play is over, I'll have to tell Wood what's happened.
Here he comes now.
Ha! Still making merry, I see. Well, we thought we'd come down again. It's too quiet upstairs for us.
Yes, we're used to shrieks, sirens, and suicide.
Yeah. Why, what seems to be the trouble? Has Miss Beatrice been found?
Yes, she has been found. Dead.
Is that so? No, I mean, it can't be. It's impossible. What are you talking about?
Mr. Wood, I'm trying to tell you that Beatrice is dead.
Beatrice is dead. I don't believe it.
Let's put this whole thing straight to you, Mr. Wood. We're all actors, hired by Ames here to present his play to you.
Actor?
Everything that's happened since you arrived was part of the play.
Except for Beatrice's death.
Mr. Ames, am I to understand that I've been witnessing part of the play you were to read to me?
Yes, I thought it a good method of presenting it to you. You see, this is really my house, and the fallen tree on the road was all part of my scheme to fool you. The storm, of course, was an added break.
Well, if these chills and thrills have been theatricals, where does the death of Beatrice fit in? Surely you don't destroy your characters.
Somebody evidently does.
We don't know any more about it than you do.
The police should be notified.
Now, wait a moment, everyone, please. I know that this is even more confusing to Mr. Wood than it is to us. He still believes we're putting on the play. So the only thing we can do is to show him Beatrice.
By all means, do.
Yes, death is no novelty to us.
No.
We stage it 8 times a week, including matinees.
And benefits.
Now, remember, no one is to touch the body until the police arrive. In there.
Well, where is she?
I don't know. What could have happened?
Well, you ought to know. You're the author.
It's impossible. I never heard of it. The place must be full. We ought to get out of here. Where can she be?
Perhaps he just stepped out during intermission.
Oh.
Gentlemen, this is too serious for joking. She was on that divan 10 minutes ago, dead. You've got to believe it's for your own safety.
Oh, and you think we're all in danger?
We most certainly are.
We've got to search this house and find Beatrice and the person who...
I wonder who that could be.
Well, we'll never find out until we answer.
I will.
We all will.
Who are you?
Who are you?
A guard from the Greystone Sanitarium. Seen anything of an escaped patient around here?
What kind of a patient?
A quiet one, until disturbed, at which time he becomes slightly murderous. Well, so help me if this ain't a night.
Oh, what's going to happen to us next?
Who are these people? I didn't know anyone was living here until I saw the lights.
What makes you think he came here?
Empty houses make good hideouts. I never saw or heard of anyone living here in the past few years.
Well, I've been living here about a month. I think you've come to the right house at that.
Yes? Has anything happened?
Uh-huh. A murder and a disappearance.
What are you winking about?
Winking? Why, my dear man, you're saying things. I simply stated a murder had been committed.
Murder? Ah. Well, it's him all right, then.
Well, who is this man you're looking for?
At the sanitarium, we'd call him Case 222. I guess you'd call him a homicidal maniac.
A maniac? And you think he's loose in this house?
Now, be perfectly calm. If my patient is here, and you scare him with hysterics, he might tear you apart to see what caused the excitement.
Oh.
That reminds me. Has anyone called disappearance?
No.
Well, that's the usual procedure, isn't it?
Oh, we forgot to, I suppose. But there's a telephone right here in the study.
Telephone?
Hello? Hello?
Cut. I suppose no one knows who did this.
Why should we? You don't think it's fun to be isolated with a maniac?
If the play calls for it, yes.
Well, I don't know what the rest of you are going to do, but I'm driving into town for the police.
Wait, it isn't safe outside. I'll walk with you to the garage.
Thanks.
I'll be right back. So those who want to go to bed are safe enough. Besides, it's easier to die in bed.
Come on, Ken, let's turn in. It's as safe up there as here if we lock our bedroom doors.
What's the idea?
Why, you're choking terribly.
Well, can you do any better?
You know, I had a hunch that Beatrice should never appear in a horror play.
Why?
Too highly strung and impressionable. A fatalist. She figured if you were paid to scare people, the law of compensation would see to it that you got scared yourself.
Utter nonsense. How could anyone possibly foresee a maniac coming here tonight and committing murder?
Don't interrupt him. The play's improving.
Not enough action for me.
Tell me, Ames, just how did you happen to come to this house yourself?
Funny you should mention that. I was just asking myself the same question. Of course, you saw that painting in the drawing room of Gussie Gillis.
Sure, everybody knew him.
And his history?
Naturally. Personally, I thought he was the worst butcher who ever severed a tonsil.
Right. And you remember how 9 of his patients mysteriously disappeared after he treated them?
They were murdered.
And when the police came to arrest him right here in this house, he committed suicide. He lost his mind from the strain of his surgical work, I guess.
Get to the point, man. I know all that record. Now, you say this house was his. How did you get it?
Why, that was easy. I simply advertised for an old, isolated country home. And the real estate agent for the Gillis estate answered and said he'd be glad to rent me this place. It's been vacant ever since the doctor's death. People were afraid to live in it because of the crimes that were committed here. It's supposed to be haunted. And the local people swear they've seen the lights go on and off in this house even while it stood unoccupied. Well, the rest of the story is short. I wanted to write a play in the same atmosphere he had lived his ghoulish life, so here I am.
I'll bet he'll come back to haunt you for this.
Jarvis get away all right?
Yes. There's no one around the ground, so I think I'll search upstairs.
I'll go up, too. I'm going to bed. And I'm resigning from your cast. You playwrights are all screwy.
I take it that this ends the second act. Now, if you don't mind me saying so, I think your play is rotten.
Well spoken, Erskine. Forget about being fired. Let's go to bed.
Yes, go to bed, Mr. Wood, and get some sleep. You insist the play is still on, but we've tried to tell you that it's ended in a tragedy. Good night, sir.
Good night, Miss Gloria.
Good night.
Ames?
Good night. Be sure and let us know if anyone else is murdered.
I can't convince those fools. They insist we're still playing for their benefit.
Oh, I wish we were out of this dreadful house. First it was Terry pestering me, and now this awful tragedy of tonight.
Don't worry, dear. You look all worn out. You get some sleep, and I'll see that nothing disturbs you.
Oh, I'm too frightened to sleep. Tell me the truth. Who do you think could have killed Beatrice, and where do you think she could be?
Well, personally, I believe it was just a burglar who's long since disappeared.
Then why would he steal the body?
Oh, to cover up the crime, I suppose. Now, you go to bed, dear. Why, Gloria, what is it? Oh, you poor kid, your nerves have completely gone.
Oh, it's you. I ought to pull the trigger at that. Well, come on, snap out of it. What is it?
Mr. Wood, maybe we're wrong. Maybe this isn't the play we're witnessing after all.
Oh, rubbish. You saw the manuscript, didn't you?
Yes, but I didn't see anything in it about the top of my bed coming down and smothering me, just like a steak under onions.
Oh, nonsense. You've had too many cocktails. Besides, I wouldn't be lucky enough to celebrate your demise by violence.
That's a fine way for you to talk to me. Me, who's been everything to you but a mother. Now, Mr. Wood, listen to reason. I may be all wrong. I'm a nervous man by nature. But if this play is still going on, it's the closest thing to reality I ever saw behind the footlights.
Oh, you're a sissy. I tell you, this fellow Ames is clever. He has reality in this play, and that's what the public wants. Now, let me alone. And if you want to stay in the theatrical business, stop letting it scare you.
Oh, I was kidding all the time. That bed bracket was only a dream I had. And you were in it, too.
I was not. I was reading.
Yes, I saw that. You were reading a book on psychics. You were worried about the future yourself.
Say, go home and go to bed, will you, please? And if you want to think of the future, remember I'm firing you.
Mr. Wood, I have a premonition that we must stick together tonight. You need protection.
You mean you do? You're trying to muscle into my bed because you're frightened. Go home.
Oh, my dear employer, play or no play, I have no relish for my own couch. Move over.
Say, this is all Tommy rot. You've got the mind of an oyster and the nerve of an acrobat. As my secretary, I do allow you to share my office, but that does not include my bed. Hey, you were born in October, weren't you?
Yes, during the National Apple Week. Why?
It says here, your type is the instincts of a bloodhound, the heritage of the homing pigeon, the attributes of the ferret, and the heart of a lion. Yet you snuggle beneath my quilts, you cream puff, because of make-believe play is scaring you. You're fired once and for all.
Will you please close my mouth if I'm snoring? I have adenoids.
Adenoids, too? Hi-ho. Homing pigeon, ferret, lion. I'm sleeping in a zoo.
I was worried about you. Up here, all alone.
I'm all right.
Listen, Gloria. You know I love you. Why do you always give me the cold shoulder?
I'm just not interested, Terry. Why did you come here? It makes it very embarrassing.
Oh, I know. You're afraid your playwright sweetheart would be jealous if he knew I was here. Well, I wish he could see you now. I just came in to say goodbye. I'm walking out on this play, but I've got a curtain speech to make. And this is it.
Stop, Terry!
Gloria! Gloria!
Are you fool? Now see what you've done. I'll hide in that closet until he goes. If you tell him I'm here, I'll say you invited me. Understand?
Well, darling, what frightened you?
I saw a man.
Well, where was he?
He came in that door. I screamed and he went away.
Oh, you poor kid, what a narrow escape you had.
Wonder what that feeling was about.
There's a light in Gloria's room. Let's see what's up. You take it easy. I'll find the guard and we'll search the house again.
What's happened? We heard screams.
Someone tried to break into Gloria's room.
What? Who?
I don't know. Here comes the guard.
Seen anything?
Plenty. Gloria was almost attacked by someone.
Fancy that.
Who do you think it was? We don't know. We'll wake up everybody and find out.
Good idea. Let's try Terry first.
Oh, Terry. Gone. Not a sign of him.
Whose room is this?
Oh, that's mine. And there's Erskine's room and that's Mr. Wood's.
Well, let's see what they know.
Empty. Darn the luck. I wonder if that maniac could have... Try Wood's room before my mind snaps to.
Eh?
Oh.
Hey, you two. Get out of here. My office hours are from 10 to 4.
Seen anything strange in here?
Yes, here's an exhibit that ought to be in a museum.
What are you doing in here?
I was sleepy. Is the play on again?
No, we're just having a roll call.
Well, consider us absent.
Terry. Terry, come out.
Gloria.
What, again?
Oh, let's don't miss this.
I might as well be a fireman.
Gloria, what is it, dear?
It's Terry. He was standing right in that closet. He's disappeared.
Well, what was Terry doing in your closet?
He was hiding.
From whom?
Why,
Oh, pardon me.
Oh, no, please let me explain.
It isn't necessary. I think I understand.
I'd sooner trust a lunatic than I would a woman.
Yes, they're more reliable.
Strange how anyone could disappear from behind a nightgown.
You could from behind my cousin's. She weighs 250.
Are you winking at me again?
Say, let's go down and get a drink. This isn't a horror play, it's a bedroom farce.
I don't think this situation is fair to me. You people are of very little help. That patient of mine is evaporating. He thinks all I've got to do is to look for him. Besides, I promised to be a 4th of Bridge tonight with some friends of mine.
Speaking of wasting time, Jarvis should have been back from town with the police long ago.
Oh, Caraway. Will you and Kent go back upstairs, please? Just to be near Gloria. I couldn't stand seeing her myself just now, but I don't want to expose her to unnecessary danger.
I understand. We'll be glad to help. I'd just as soon go up again anyway. I'm dead.
Please don't use that word.
I don't like that fella Caraway.
Oh, forget it. He's just a seedy butler.
Well, I feel duty-bound to see this night through. I live here and all that, but I'm beginning to reach the breaking point. The situation is getting out of hand. It seems to me you're about as useless a guard as I've ever seen.
Well, I've worked in 2 penitentiaries and 3 asylums and never had any complaints.
Best actor of the bunch. Well, boys, I'm going to retire from now for the 2nd time tonight. Abe, go on with your rehearsal, but don't disturb me for the finale. And again I say, good night.
Please continue. I never walk out on anything that doesn't cost me something.
What does he mean?
Oh, these fools think we're putting on a play for their benefit.
I'm hungry.
I could destroy a few vitamins myself.
Well, you'll find some food in the kitchen. I'll be waiting for you here. Hello? What are you doing down here?
Why, I just came down to get some cigarettes.
Well, you shouldn't have left Gloria upstairs alone.
Well, I'm not her guardian. If you're so anxious about her, why don't you go upstairs and play watchman yourself?
That's just what we're both going to do.
Well, the scene shifts. So do I.
Gloria? Gloria!
I smell chloroform.
This is all your fault. I told you not to leave her alone. We'll arouse everyone.
Oh, Kent?
Well, Mr. Wood.
He's probably in his room.
I shouldn't cue you, but here comes Kent now.
Oh, Kent!
Yeah?
Gloria's disappeared.
Huh?
Say, have you been out in the rain?
No, why?
Well, whoever stole Gloria took her out of the window into the rain. Funny that you should be out of your room and then appear all wet.
I don't like your insinuations, Mr. Ames. If you must know, I couldn't sleep. I was going to take a bath in the tub and turned on the shower by mistake.
That's what I would call a watertight alibi.
Maybe Mr. Wood knows something.
I'd have more privacy in a convention hall. Come in.
Mr. Wood, some gentlemen to see you.
Have you seen Gloria?
She doesn't seem to be here. Why?
Gloria has been kidnapped.
Goody, goody.
I say, that's beastly rude of you. They accuse me, but I think Teddy's the guilty one. He's gone, too.
They've got to search the whole place over again. Get up and see the fun. It's better than looking for a good candidate before an election.
Not me. I'm staying right here. And if they don't stop this fool play and get out of here, I'll rid the world of the entire cast.
All right, stay here. I hope you're the next victim.
Mr. Wood, could I have a word with you?
If you try to get in this bed again, I'll shoot you, so help me.
I only wanted to say that you're right, as usual. The play is still going on.
Of course I'm right. I know the theater like Barnum knew his elephants. And I'm not cross with you, Erskine. In fact, I'm going to raise your salary.
Thanks. People don't disappear every 5 minutes in real life.
Unfortunately, some don't. I'd like to get some sleep.
But the play...
Earn some of the money that I pay you by watching it for me.
Why, I thought you fired me.
Not till we get back to town. Now, shut up and get up.
Guard! Guard!
Huh? What do you want?
Fine help you are. Gloria's been stolen. You're standing around here eating chicken.
Well, one must eat occasionally. What makes you think the lady was stolen? Rather an antiquated way to acquire a woman, isn't it?
Oh, shut up. Her window was open. She must have been taken out of the house. I'm going to search the grounds.
I'm with you, Ames. Hey, you. Come here. Where's your friend?
If you mean my honored employer, he's upstairs in bed.
I think I'll go up and look him over. There's something queer about you both. He winks at you and you wink at me. And I don't like it.
We'll make a careful search of the ground. You go that way, now go this.
We'll search the house and I'll meet you front.
Right.
Who's there?
Only me.
Oh, my old friend from the insane asylum. Come on in, sit down. Make yourself at home. Everybody else has. Hey, look here, old man, pal to pal. You're not really an asylum guard, are you?
No. How did you get it?
You can't fool an old-timer. You know, you're wasting your talents here. You're too good for this stuff.
The whole world knows that.
I said good, not perfect. Like that play. You know, I've been thinking that over. It's mighty darn gripping.
I think it's pathetically bad. I'll have no part in it.
Are you under contract to Ames?
Me? I should say not. But I'm ready for a presentation now that will astound the world.
I believe you are. I'll bet you'd be a sensation and a good part. and I'm going to give it to you. Herman Wood, the man who has given more stars to Broadway than Edison has electric lights, will star you personally in an extravaganza.
Splendid, splendid.
Oh, are you busy Thursday?
Let me see. No, I have nothing planned.
Good. Come to my office next Thursday and we'll sign a contract.
Splendid. But you should see me work first.
Well, what are you doing now?
Wasting time talking to you. Come with me, and I will show you real dramatics.
Are you kidding?
I never joke. I will show you drama. Stark, throbbing drama, with a master touch of comedy.
By golly, I'm with you. Just wait till I get my slippers.
Don't forget, Thursday. Come.
I'd feel a lot safer if I had my gun.
Where is it?
Home.
That's okay with me. Let's go over to your house and hang around.
It'll soon be daylight. Thank heaven. Ames. Anything new?
We made a complete search of the grounds and found nothing.
Well, how much longer is this going on? I'm getting tired of sitting around here and waiting for something that doesn't happen. The picture. It's alive. It winged.
What's the matter with him? He must be balmy.
Charles, what happened to you?
Remember when I left the house to get the car and the cops?
Yes?
Well, that nuthouse guard leaves me at the garage. Then just as I'm getting into the car, somebody slugged me with a lead pipe.
What was the idea? Well, someone didn't want him to get away. And that someone is probably the escape nut that we're looking for.
How many of you are searching for him? There's already been a guard here tonight.
Well, there's possibly half a dozen of us, but believe you and I'll find him.
Yeah, this guy disappears every so often. But we always spot him in this neighborhood.
I see. Well, after you were hit on the head, why did you come back to the house?
I figured getting the police was the wisest move to make. I've been knocked out and tied in the garage, but I broke the ropes. Then I tried to start the car, but I found out someone had gummed up the motor. Well, I began to hoof it into the village when these guards from the sanitarium picked me up, and here we are. Has anything happened since I left?
Yes, Gloria's been kidnapped and Terry's disappeared.
And now that Erskine person's gone violent.
Oh, yeah? Well, I'll handle that.
Help! Help!
What's the matter?
Mr. Wood is gone.
What?
I said he's gone, and so is the guard. It's that picture that's doing it.
Oh, what's the matter with it?
Its eyes moved. It glared at me.
Why, it's as solid as the wall.
You're daffy. Those eyes never stared out of nothing but a paint pot.
I say someone looked out of that painting.
Okay, brother, we'll soon find out who's nuts around here.
Say, he's right. These eyes are phony.
What'd I tell you? Now who's that?
Hey, there's a passageway back to this.
A passage.
Look! It's moving!
That's how Beatrice disappeared from this room.
Well, I'm going to find out where it leads to.
I'll go with you.
Be careful, it looks dangerous.
My friends, since your entrance into this house, I have worked toward bringing you into this laboratory. Years ago, a famous surgeon lived, worked, and studied here. His name was Guthrie Gillett. He is dead now, but I, Professor Elmer Trittery, will carry on and improve his work.
Hey, I don't like these underground places.
Well, you may as well get used to it. You may spend a lot of time in one.
Why, the whole house must be honeycombed with passages. They lead all directions.
I am the greatest genius you have ever seen. I have mastered my work. Work that has produced power almost divine. I have become more than the greatest plastic surgeon in the world. I am the molder of mankind. I have reached a great decision. That is why I've allowed you all to trespass upon the seclusion that I have enjoyed in a supposedly deserted house. I discovered this old house of Dr. Gillis's on one of my many escapes from the sanitarium. It is admirably fitted for my work. All I needed was patience. And now I have you, healthy people, who can't stand the rigor of certain small operations.
Now, wait. This looks like a door.
See where that leads to.
This patient you're looking for, is he violent?
Sometimes. He almost killed a guard tonight when he stole his uniform.
Oh, and he winked at me.
Leads into an open room with a swinging bookcase.
Then Gloria did see something in that study. We've got to find her before anything happens to her.
It seems to me this is the fluid I used to paralyze the mice with yesterday. I think I meant to use it on your friend Beatrice. But somehow I became somewhat confused. So now the poor girl is dead. Forgive my stupidity. I will be more careful to see that you don't suffer the accidental death she did. I have brought back the spark of light. I am colossal.
Oh, my head aches. Take that smelling salts away. You're choking me.
I am awfully embarrassed. I thought I killed you, but I only gave you a headache. I ask your indulgence in looking at this chart. You will notice the various noses, eyes, and chins. You all have an ideal, a face you envy. You can have your choice of alteration. You understand, my operations run in series. You may look as you wish now. Ultimately, I will slowly change you to fit my model. Young lady, you shall have the honor of being the first on my table. I shall require very little from any of you. Just enough to begin my work. A feature from you, a bone from him, and a cartilage from that one.
It's the guard. It's Professor Twiddly, the guy we're looking for.
Then he's the nut. Well, he's dangerous. Let's get him.
Wait a minute.
Better not get him excited. I know how to handle him. Hello, Professor.
Why, Mr. McLeavy, what are you doing here? Can't you see I'm busy?
Sure, but you've got to come home with us. It's important.
Home? Is there anything wrong?
Why, don't you remember? You operated on your old friend Julius Caesar a couple of days ago.
Did I now? Sure. Funny, I forgot. How'd it turn out?
Not so good. That's why we have to hurry back. You see, he got tired of his Roman nose, so you grafted on a new one. But you put it on upside down. And on rainy nights like this, the poor fellow can't go out for fear of drowning.
My. We'll return at once. Poor Caesar must be miserable.
Oh, Prescott, take me out of here. I never want to see another horror play.
Well, don't worry. I'll never write another one.
Yes, you will.
What?
Absolutely, but you've got to rewrite it. Just like this night and the experiences we've gone through.
Even to the murder of Beatrice?
Yes, I'm afraid Beatrice will have to die all over again.
Well, the ghost walks after all.
Congratulations.
Congratulations, Joe.
You were all right too, Caraway.
Thank you, Mr. Wood.
Now what's the matter with you?
I was just thinking how terrible it would have been had the professor really operated on us and changed us all. You might have gotten my adenoids, and I would have gotten your false teeth.
Erskine, turn your face to the setting sun.
Oh! What's the idea?
Don't forget, you're fired.
Oh, Mr. Wood.
Come.
But how else can we explain these terrible deaths? Von Else last night, 5 others before him, that's 6 within as many weeks, Inspector. Our friends, neighbors that we'd known for years, drained of their life's blood, found dead in bed, lifeless skeletons of skin and bone. Vampires are at large, I tell you, vampires.
Malignant demons who issue forth from their graves in the dead of night to attack their victims and drink the blood from their veins.
Brrr. Gotten him of Red Snyder, don't jest.
Ah, that blood-sucking legend belongs in the same category with werewolves and all other peasant superstitions.
But the bats, man. The bats. God, yes. Big ones, so.
Oh, now we're switching to bats again.
There was an epidemic of giant bats in Kleinschloss in 1643. And at the same time, there was an outbreak of vampirism.
Rot.
Why, this record from the town archive proves it.
Says it, not proves it.
Well, I'll show you. I'll show you. Now, here it is. And on this day was von Hausmann hanged from a gibbet in the public square after being convicted on a proven charge of vampirism. And on this same day, there did occur the departure of the bats. Thousands of horrible flying creatures which infested the town for weeks. And on the night of this same day, February 13, in the year of our Lord, 1643, was there a stake driven through von Hausmann's heart and his head cut off with a grave digger's shovel. There.
Well, all the records in the world can't make me believe in vampires. There are blood-sucking bats, yes. In South America, thousands of miles from here, but not in Kleinschloss.
But bats fly. They could fly here. You saw the bodies. All of them. 2 wounds on the neck, right at the jugular vein. 2 wounds on the neck, pierced and spread apart just as if 2 fang-like teeth had bitten through the flesh and right into the veins. And in every case, a blood clot, 8 inches from the victim's neck. The mark of the feast, the devil's signature.
Does that appear the mark of a human being or a demon's?
God save us, the devil's.
You ought to make a pretty fair meal for a vampire. But let's be consistent. Are these human vampires or bats?
Vampires can take the shape of a human or a bat, just as they choose.
Oh, they're magicians. Well, it doesn't make sense to me.
The whole village is in terror. We live in closed houses, behind locked doors and bolted shutters, not daring to close our eyes, fearful lest this unseen silent death may find us in our sleep, for it is then that it strikes, swiftly, silently, ghastly. My room is tightly closed. The windows are barred, nailed down. Nothing can get in. Nothing.
But they tell me vampires can go through stone walls like that.
God save me, so they can. We've got to do something, I tell you. Kleinschloss will become a deserted village.
Well, you might catch all the bats and drown them in the river.
Carl!
While you're hunting for vampires and chasing bats, I'm looking for a human being. A murderer, a fiend.
Well, then don't jest about it. Do something.
I'm trying to. Every hour, every day, every night since this thing started.
Do you hear it? Hear it? Yes. Night after night. Lying awake until dawn. Waiting.
For what?
I don't know.
That's what I thought. Good night, gentlemen. Don't let the vampires get you. Are your kisses dynamite?
Don't you like my kisses?
Well, how's my mastermind this evening?
Well, if you want the truth, not so good.
The Burgermeister and his Grand Council still stick to the vampire theory.
Stick to it. Huh. They're quoting history to prove it. I think you and Dr. von Niemann are the only sane people left in the village.
And you? What about you?
Me? Well, I'm beginning to think I'm 7 different kinds of a fool. Murders are being done under my very nose. I must be as blind as the bats themselves. I can't find a single clue.
Oh, but you will, Carl. You will.
Well, I haven't.
Oh, Ruth!
And here comes dear Aunt Gussie to spread good cheer and hope.
Just what I thought. Slaving your life away in this awful place. It hasn't got that nice, clean, wholesome smell of a hospital. How are you, Carl?
Oh, quite well, thank you.
Well, I'm not. This clammy old place is bound to give me pericarditis, enterocolitis, neuritis, well, anyway, rheumatism. You have some coffee?
No, thank you, Frau Stampmann.
No, it's just as well. There's only 2 cups. Here, dear. That'll take the chill out of your bones.
Thank you.
Speaking of chills, Frau Stampmann, did you know the village is supposed to be infested with ghouls and vampires?
Oh, Carl.
Vampires. Pariahs among fiends. Demoniacal creatures with huge canine teeth who bite deeply into the necks of their victims to quaff and gorge on blood. Warm human blood.
There's no such thing as a vampire, Carl Brett Snyder. I don't believe in it. You're just saying that to frighten me. And I just won't be frightened. I'm entirely too sensible to believe in such rubbish.
I beg pardon.
Oh, so it's you.
I'm sorry if I frightened you.
Who said you frightened me? I'm not afraid of anything.
Could you tell me where Dr. von Niemann is?
We drove to the village to see Martha, the old apple woman.
Thank you.
Is this what Dr. Haupt prescribed?
Yes, sir. She takes it in water.
Well, continue giving it to her.
Yes, sir.
It's stifling in here. Open these windows.
Yes, sir.
Herman open windows. Me do.
Well, she'll sleep well now, poor soul. It won't be necessary for you to stay here. A good night's sleep will work wonders for her.
It was kind of you to come, Doctor.
Oh. Martha has sold me apples for many years. Always a good, ripe, juicy one.
Martha, give me apples. I like.
Oh, Josephine. Oh, good.
She wants her cross.
Herman, get. Here. Now, there. For Martha. There. No.
She won't let it out of her sight.
A terrible experience. To be attacked by a giant bat is enough to shatter anyone's nerves.
She talks about it all the time. How it flew in her face and tried to sink its teeth in her throat.
No. Bats no do. They soft. Like cat. They not bite Herman.
Be quiet, Herman. See what you've done.
There, Martha, there. She'll be all right. If she isn't, let me know.
Thank you for coming, Doctor.
That's all right. Good night.
Good night. Run along, Herman. You can see Martha tomorrow.
Oh.
Ah, Dr. von Niemann.
Ah, Kringen, how are you?
Much better, thank you kindly, sir, since you prescribed for me.
That's right.
Go to bed, Herman. Go to bed. You shouldn't be prowling around the streets. Dangerous. Oh, I'm afraid.
Afraid? Afraid of what, Kringen?
The bats, sir. Big giant bats with wings like an eagle's.
You saw this bat, you say?
I saw it swooping down the street. It came directly for my throat, sir.
When was this, Kringen?
Last night when they came to take Von Els. It was a big monstrous thing. I saw it leap across the alley and into a window. I ran just as fast as my legs could carry me.
You said nothing about this?
There's enough fear in the village already. Maybe I should. Maybe I should. I will. I'll tell the Burgermeister.
Yes, Kringen. That's the thing to do.
No. Bats good. They not hurt Herman.
He plays with them.
You no tell.
No. No. Go to bed, Herman. Go on. Go on, go to bed.
You say he plays with bats?
His garret is filled with them. He makes pets of them.
That's odd. Very odd.
Maybe he's it. Herman prowls around the streets all hours of the night, just like an animal. Maybe he's the vampire.
Now, don't start any gossip about that, Kringen. Heaven only knows where it might end. Good night.
Good night, sir.
Now, soft, nice. There.
See? What did I tell you?
Perhaps there's something in what Kringen says.
Seems strange that a human being should want to play with bats.
He isn't human, I tell you. He's in league with the devil.
Put it on. Put it on. There. Thanks. Now go to sleep. You'll be all right in a few days. The doctor says so. Close the window. Close the window. I'm afraid. The vampire. Well, he said leave them open, but I'd have them closed. You want the light? Leave the light. I'm afraid. Well, I can't blame you for that either. I'll turn it down a little. Good night. If you want me, just pound on the floor. I'll hear you. All right. Good night. Good night, Martha. Oh.
Herr Brett Schneider is here to see you, sir. He's in the laboratory with Miss Burton.
Oh, thank you. Ah, here you are.
Good evening, Doctor.
Good evening, Ruth. How are you, Carl?
Well, I'd feel a lot better if I could find a solution to these murders.
You don't believe in this vampire theory, then?
Of course not. Do you?
There are many strange happenings, my boy. Many mysteries beyond the power of the human mind to comprehend.
Have you a theory which might explain these deaths?
Well, I'll be pleased to discuss it with you, but not now, not now. I have some very important work to do.
Well, tomorrow, then.
Tomorrow? Yes, perhaps. We'll see. Oh, this isn't so important, Miss Betty, that you can't let it go till tomorrow.
All right, thank you, Doctor. Oh, how about Martha?
Huh? Oh, nothing serious. Just a case of nerves, that's all. Good night.
Good night,
Doctor.
Good night, Carl. Name.
Martha Muller.
Age.
I don't know.
Cause of death.
Like all the rest.
The vampire.
Yes, that's so. When I said I was going to tell you, his eyes glowed up like coals of fire. His hand reached out towards me, as if he were going to sink it into my throat.
And weigh this well. He never works and never begs, and yet he appears well-fed always.
That's so, he does.
Well, what does he live on, then? I'll wager it's as Kringen says.
And my woman was in Martha's room tonight when Herman put a flower in her hand.
Strange business, if you ask me. Mighty strange.
I hate to be in your shoes, Kringen.
Yes, after what happened tonight, I'd lock myself in my room and pray God to protect me from the devil.
Good evening, Herr Doctor. Good evening.
Dr. von Niemann. Doctor.
Vampire.
Well, what do you make of it, Doctor?
Are these two wounds similar to those found on the other bodies?
Dr. Haupt can answer that for you, sir.
Yes, they were the same in every case.
This is a strange condition, Carl. So strange that I doubt the evidence of my eyes. What was your conclusion, Haupt?
I diagnosed the wounds as having been made by needle-sharp teeth. Punctures are clean cut, penetrating into, but not beyond, the jugular vein.
Do you mean to say that you also believe they could have been made by teeth?
Frankly, I do.
Ah, you see, Brett Schneider?
What kind of teeth, Doctor?
An animal of some sort. It's hard to say. The fangs of a wolf, perhaps.
A werewolf.
Could they have been made by, well, a bat, for instance?
A certain species, yes. There are vampire bats. Dr. William Jamison, who explored many of the tributaries of the upper Amazon, states that blood-sucking bats do exist. He further asserts that the victims often become blood drinkers themselves, citing a case in which he saw a native tortured to death in an anthill by his tribe brothers. They swore he had become a human bat, and, states Jamison, he confessed it.
Do you mean to say that such a thing as a human vampire is possible?
Who can say? Historic records would have us believe that an evil soul, assuming there is such, can take any shape it pleases.
So why not into that of a human being? Eh, Carl? Why not?
Have you any literature on the subject, Doctor?
Yes, I have many interesting volumes on my shelf that might prove very enlightening. I'll be glad to show them to you.
I don't mind admitting that I'm up a tree. Stumped.
Well, we'll see what can be done, my boy.
No, Herman. This is no place for you. Go away, my boy. Go away.
Good night, Sean.
Good night, Doctor.
Good night, Hal.
Good night, Doctor.
In the morning, Carl.
Thank you, Doctor. I'm sorry to have dragged you out at such an ungodly hour.
Oh, that's all right. That's all right. A child fleeing in horror from the sight of death.
There goes the vampire. Arrest him. Lock him up. Kill him.
Has the entire village gone mad? Herman wouldn't harm a baby, and you know it.
I've walked the streets of this village for over 40 years, but tonight's the end. He knows that I've told he plays with bats.
He knows that I saw him sneak into Martha's house just before midnight.
Perhaps he was taking her another flower, Kringle. The boy brought her one this evening while I was there.
He killed her just like he did all the rest. And now he's going to kill me. Unless he's killed in a stake driven through his heart, I'm a doomed man. He'll kill me. He'll kill me. I'm doomed. He'll kill me. He'll kill me. I'm a doomed man. He'll kill me.
Good morning, Mr. Brett Schneider. What brings you to Klein Schloss so early?
You.
Fibber. I heard the doctor tell Georgiana he expected you.
I knew there was something else.
You're a delightful prevaricator, Carl, but not a very convincing one.
Oh, you don't mind me using your stethoscope, do you, Doctor?
Not at all, Frau Schnappen. But what seems to be the ailment this morning?
What's that? Oh.
What seems to be the ailment this morning?
Well, Doctor, I am positive that I have valvular leakage of the aorta. Or maybe it's the right ventricle. There is something wrong with my heart. I can hear it beat, thump, 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 just like the book says.
Well, if you didn't hear it beating thump, 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 just as the book says, I would say there is something wrong.
What? Without a moon?
You have a heart of stone.
All right, then. Close your eyes. No.
Oh, so, young lady.
It's too early in the morning, Carl. Much too early.
Oh, is it?
Oh, there's Aunt Gussie.
She would show up just at a time like this.
Well, Aunt Gussie, what's the matter now?
I have palpitation of the auricular, ventricular, and mitral valves with a cardiac tendency.
You mean your heart's beating?
Of course it's beating. Dr. Von Neelen tried to assure me, but I know it's serious. I'm liable to go just like that.
Did he prescribe for you, dear?
Yes, monacid ester, salicylic acid.
You mean salicylic acid, don't you?
Yes, salicylic. It's helped me. My heart is much quieter. Hello, Carl.
Hello.
Oh, Carl, you'll be good to her when I'm gone, won't you?
Yes, of course I will, Frau Schnappmann.
Well, I'm not gone yet. You can't marry her unless I say so. Don't forget that. Oh, my heart.
There, Auntie, you'll be all right. Just rest a while. What you need is...
What?
Rest, dear. Quiet. And Gussie has a heart like a steam engine. Carl.
Don't you know it's wrong to steal? You've cut yourself.
See? Blood.
Yes. Stop it, stop it.
No hurt me. No hurt.
Oh, you poor thing. Now, you wait right here, and I'll run in the house and get something for that finger. A subcutaneous wound like that might easily result in a tetanus infection.
Tetanus.
Tetanus. Lockjaw. Not that you need be afraid. From the way you talk, I think you've got it already. Look, here's a nice juicy apple for you.
Ah, this is it. Traits sur les apparitions des esprits et sur les vampires by Augustin Dom Calame in 1746. Let us suppose that these corpses do not actually stir from their tombs, but only the ghosts or spirits appear to the living. Wherefore do these phantoms present themselves, and what is it that energizes them? Is it actually the soul of the dead man which has not yet departed to its final destination?
Fiddlesticks. Now, how could a corpse buried under 4 or 5 feet of earth get out to do any such foolishness? I don't believe it.
It's a fair question, Doctor. How could it?
Well, according to accepted theory, the vampire dematerializes its body and reintegrates it outside the grave.
It's a good explanation, if you can believe it. And while I'm standing here listening to all this rubbish, there's a poor man in the garden in danger of a tetanus infection. Now, what should I do for him, Doctor? Shall I apply mercurochrome or 2% solution of bichloride?
Well, either will do. Get some gauze and some mercurochrome.
Thank you, Doctor. I'll wait here.
Difficult to believe, isn't it? It's impossible to believe.
And yet, it would explain these deaths, wouldn't it?
Ah, Brettschneider. Pardon our intrusion, Dr. von Niemann, but after what you saw last night, you'll be interested in this as well.
Well, what's happened?
Gringen was found dead an hour ago, with the 2 punctures in his neck and not a drop of blood in his body. And what's more, Hermann Gleib has disappeared.
What?
Now are you convinced that we were right and you were wrong?
That'd be proof enough for anybody. Gringen said Herman would get him, and he did.
Well, Brettschneider?
I appoint you my deputy. Organize a searching party and comb this countryside from one end to the other. Find Herman Gleib and bring him in, but don't harm him. Do you understand?
What good will that do? He's the vampire. There's only one thing for us to do when we find him. Kill him and drive a stake through his
Herman
heart.
Gleib will be tried by a court of law. If the charge against him is proven true, the law will decide what to do with him, not you. Now get your men together and do as I tell you.
That's the way to talk.
I'm going into town for a little while, Doctor. Would you care to come along?
Oh, I hardly believe so. There's little to be done until they find the boy. If you need me then,
All right, thanks. I'll let you know.
I feel as though I was going to faint.
Oh, there, Auntie. There's nothing here to be afraid of. Here comes Emil with your mercurochrome and bandages. Run along now and take care of that patient of yours.
Oh, heavens, I forgot all about him. Oh, my heart. Oh.
Poor Auntie. She's had every ailment in the book.
And a lot that aren't, I'm afraid.
Particularly a palpitation of the auriculoventricular, tricuspid, and mitral valves, Doctor.
Well, I had to tell her something to satisfy her.
Here, you mustn't do that. Now, where's that finger?
You good like Martha. She give me apples. Herman like you.
Are you Herman?
Me, Herman. You give me apple? Herman give you nice, soft bat.
What is it, Georgiana?
I just found this in Emil's room.
Well,
It belonged to my friend, Martha Mueller.
are you certain?
I gave it to her myself. Martha died last night. I find her crucifix in Emil's room. Doesn't that mean Emil is the one Herr Brettschneider is seeking?
This amazes me, Georgiana. It's impossible.
It rained the night Von Elst died. There was mud on Emil's shoes the next morning.
Have you mentioned this to anyone?
I intend to tell Herr Brettschneider when he calls again.
Can't believe it. Leave this with me. I want to talk to Emil before you say anything to anyone.
The Burgermeister should know at once.
Yes, all in good time. Emil has been with me too long for us to jump at conclusions. Don't say anything until I tell you, and send Emil to me.
Very well, Doctor.
That's for the neuritis. And the pepsin, that Hassenpfeffer was tougher than shoe leather. And sweet spirits of nitre, that'll help, at least won't do any harm. And ginger, that'll warm my stomach. And now, a little pipe out of soda.
Back to the village with us. Come on. We won't hurt you.
No, won't go. Herman afraid.
Come on. You're going with us, Herman.
No.
You're going with us.
No.
Come on.
No.
Come on. Get him. Come on, Herman. We won't hurt you. Come on.
No. No. No.
Come, that settles him.
Yes, let's go. We got him down below.
We've got to make certain. I won't go down there.
Nobody asked you to. I'll go myself.
Can you see him?
He's on a ledge about 50 feet down. I'll get a rope. We've got to make certain, I tell you.
must be careful, Emil. Very careful. No. It must be, it must be. She's no better than the rest. I've got to go on.
Oh, it's you, Doctor. Good evening. I'm sorry to have to disturb you, Doctor, but we simply couldn't make Georgiana hear the bell.
That's quite all right, my dear. Georgiana's becoming careless. Very careless.
Yes, I've noticed that, too. In my opinion, she has Nagana. That's sleeping sickness. You know the symptoms, Doctor. At first, I thought it was creeping paralysis, so I stuck a pin in her leg to see. And there was a splendid reaction of the reflex motor nerves.
Why, Auntie.
You're shocked. So was she.
Won't you join me in some coffee?
Yes, thanks, Doctor. We will. There are a few questions I'd like to ask you. Oh.
About blood and murders and vampires, I suppose.
Yes, I'm afraid so.
Well, so am I. Well, good night. If such a thing is possible, I'm going to bed.
Won't you join us too, Frau Schnappmann?
Coffee at this hour of the night? No, thank you. I'm going to stick to my monacid ester salicylic salad. Acid, Doctor, acid. Good night.
What's the news in the village, Carl? Have they located Herman yet?
No, not a trace of him. I hate to think of that poor misfit being hunted down like a dog. Do you know, I simply can't bring myself to believe in that vampire theory.
Will you pour, Ruth?
Certainly.
I know, Carl. Our saner, calmer judgment tells us that such things can't be, and yet, here, for instance, in this ponderous tome, are cited 1,001 phobias and complexes that human beings are heir to. Some of them are strange, more untenable even than werewolves and vampires. Could I have some more, please?
You drink entirely too much coffee.
Well, it's my one weakness. And also my excuse for tolerating Georgiana's laxity and other things. She does know how to make good coffee. Thank you. She brings it to me every night at exactly 10 o'clock. And when I've drunk it all, then I know it's time to quit.
Yes,
And eat breakfast so you can have more coffee.
Oh.
Georgiana, you mustn't lie like that. You'll get yourself a torticolis. No, stiff neck. Georgiana.
That was Auntie. Auntie!
Oh, I'm all right. I'm all right now. Oh, it's just
Amy, help Frau snap into her room.
my silly imagination. I imagined I saw Georgia.
The same 2 wounds, Doctor.
And my last words to her were angry ones. A petulant reprimand for being late with my coffee.
What time is that?
About 2 or 3 minutes after 10.
She's been dead then about 45 minutes. Bloodless like the rest. It passes all belief. Ruth's aunt saw Herman Gleib in the garden this morning. Could it be that he... You were the first one here. What happened?
I was in my room reading. My door was open. I must have dozed off for a minute or so because I awoke to hear Frau Schnappmann scream.
You say your door was open?
Yes, my room is very poorly ventilated.
And you saw nothing? Heard nothing unusual?
Nothing.
Carl.
What is it?
This crucifix belonged to Martha. See who it is, Emil.
Can you positively identify this as belonging to Martha?
Without a doubt. I saw it in her room the night she died.
How in the world did it get here?
Herman Gleib was in her room. He had that crucifix in his hands. And Herman was here today.
Maybe here now, for all we know.
Who is it? Oh,
How is she?
she's had a real shock this time, but she'll be all right. I'm putting her to bed.
Leave her there. Don't let her out of this room. And don't you leave it either.
Why, what do you mean?
It looks as if Herman Gleib is the killer after all. It's possible he may be hiding here in the castle.
Why, what makes you think so?
I'll tell you later. Stay in your room and keep your door locked.
Don't worry about that.
I heard every word he said, and I don't think there's any use of them searching for Herman. They should look for a dog, a human-faced dog.
Auntie, the doors and windows are all locked. There's nothing to be afraid of now.
Who said I was afraid? I'm not a bit afraid.
No, of course you're not afraid, but you must get some rest.
Rest in this awful place? With dog-faced Hermans and human-faced bats and blood and murders and vampires.
Find anything, Carl?
There's an unbroken cobweb in that window. If Herman did it, he came through the door.
He must have. And yet I don't understand how he could find his way up here without us hearing him. Yet Emil was asleep, and I was in the library. Yes, he could have done it. The facts all point to it. What was it, Emil?
The Burgermeister. He has news for Herr Brettschneider about Herman.
Oh.
Pardon the intrusion, Doctor. Pardon the intrusion. I knew Carl was here, and I thought you wouldn't mind if I ran in to tell him the news.
About Herman?
Yes. He fell into the Devil's Well in the cave.
He's dead?
Dead as a doornail.
This ends our troubles, Carl. The vampire's dead. I can feel it in my bones.
Well, your bones may be wrong. What time did this happen?
Quite early, about 9 o'clock. The cave is nearly 2 hours from here. That's why we didn't hear it sooner.
Well, it may interest you to know that there's been another death after your vampire died.
Who?
Dr. von Niemann's housekeeper. Right here in her own room.
Mother of mercy. What are we going to do?
Well, a natural death wouldn't kill a vampire, Carl. You know the accepted theory. A stake driven through the heart.
Oh, yes, that's the theory, all right.
But...
What?
But they did. They drove a stake through his heart.
Good God, are we living in the Middle Ages?
It wasn't through my sanction, Carl. Basawa did it. He told me so himself.
Well, that ends the vampire theory as far as I'm concerned. Herman Gleib died in the accepted fashion for killing a vampire. Oh, no, there's some human agency at work here, Doctor. A madman who kills to satisfy some violent, sadistic urge.
Yes, you're right, Carl. I've been a fool, a superstitious fool.
Did they leave his body in the cave?
Yes. Yes, they did.
Well, in view of what's happened, don't you think you owe him a decent burial?
You're right. In view of what has happened, we do owe him that, Carl. I'll see to it at once, this very instant. And I'll make arrangements for Georgiana's removal to the morgue. Good night, Doctor. Pardon the intrusion.
Good night, Gustav.
Pardon the intrusion.
Well, here I am, just where I started weeks ago. There isn't a single theory that doesn't lead straight into a stone wall. I've jested about this vampire business because my better judgment told me it was a lot of nonsense. Then I reached the point where I was willing to accept even that, because it seemed to satisfy the equation.
All of us are a bit superstitious.
I don't know which way to turn, where to look, what to look for. Why should anyone want human blood? Why? Why?
Calm yourself, Carl.
Calm myself? Calm myself? With all these unsolved murders staring me in the face and no solution in sight? How much blood is there in the human body, Doctor?
About 6 liters, approximately.
Can you think of any purpose for which that amount of blood might be used?
No. Not even in transfusions.
That's the point which stops me. There isn't any other use for human blood. Murderers leave clues. And these atrocities are murders, Doctor. Those simple fools in the village can believe what they like, but you and I are sane, thinking people. And you know and I know, Doctor, that these are murders. The last one was done here. In this very house, right under this roof. All right, I'll start here. I'm going over every foot of this place, both inside and out. Nobody, sane or insane, is clever enough to get away with murder without leaving a clue of some sort. And I'm going to find that clue.
Come, Carl. You mustn't let your nerves run away with you. Here. These will help to give you a good night's sleep. If there are any clues, they'll be here in the morning when your nerves are calm and your mind is clear. Take my advice and go home and rest.
I imagine 1,000 demons were after me as I came down those stairs.
Ruth, didn't I tell you to stay in your room?
Yes, but I wanted the doctor to come up and quiet Auntie. You know, it isn't her imagination this time.
Of course, Ruth, I'll come right away. Take my advice, young man. Go home and go to bed.
Good night, Carl.
Good night, Ruth.
Good night, Carl.
Good night, Doctor.
If his lights are on, you must wait, Emil. Wait until he has gone to bed. Handle him as you did the others, Emil. You are strong. Very strong. I am waiting for you. Waiting for you to bring him to the laboratory.
You're the one. What mad thing are you doing?
Mad? Is one who has solved the secret of life to be considered mad? Life, created in the laboratory. No mere crystalline growth, but tissue. Living, growing tissue. Life that moves, pulsates, and demands food for its continued growth. Huh. You shudder in horror. So did I the first time. But what are a few lives to be weighed in the balance against the achievement of biological science? Think of it. I have lifted the veil. I have created life. Wrested the secret of life from life. Now do you understand? For the lives of those who have gone before, I have created life.
I'll tell Carl.
You may. For tonight, Carl's name will be added to yours. And all of those whom this achievement will immortalize.
I didn't take your sleeping tablets, Doctor.
Emil brought them here. He's the one who murdered them.
Stay where you are. You'll have a chance to tell everything, Doctor.
I'll take care of Von Niemann. Get her out of here.
You stay here. Von Niemann and Emil.
Doctor! Dr. Von Niemann!
Oh, she mustn't see them.
Where is Dr. Von Niemann? I must see him immediately.
Aunt Gussie, you can't. He can't be disturbed.
Oh, but I must see him. I simply must. That hydrous magnesium sulfate he gave me is affecting me most peculiarly. You'll pardon me?
Hydrous magnesium sulfate. Well, that's Epsom salts.
Tonight, my dear Maxwell, I'm ready to try my experiment on a human.
Yes?
In the morgue, There is a lethal gassed suicide. An ideal spasm.
Have you made arrangements?
No. You know I do not work under prying eyes. You will find a way for me to work without detection. It is your chance to show me your gratitude for my generosity and protection.
I will never forget what you have done for me, and will do anything to help you. But the morgue, dead people. Suppose we should be caught?
How many times have you told me of your impersonations? That you never had a chance? Maybe your art will serve you after all. You have seen the coroner? Why not impersonate him?
No.
That's it! No. Impersonate him! The time has come when you can repay me for what I have done.
It's horrible, I tell you. Working on the dead. Trying to bring back life. It's not natural. You with your weird ideas. Haven't I stayed here and nursed dying dogs? Yeah. And even that miserable cat? And for what? For a measly roof and food. Because you took me in. When I was down and out.
Once a ham, always a ham. You, an actor? But don't forget, my dear Maxwell, the police would be very glad to find you.
I didn't mean I wouldn't.
Of course not. In time, you may become a great man. This is the one. Here!
File number 26941. Maria Altura, 24, suicide. Carbon monoxide gas, not claimed.
Perfect. But we'll have to work fast. My gosh. Them stiffs is getting heavier and more of them every day.
Between the gangsters and the auto drivers, we don't need another war to carry off the population.
You didn't even mention suicides. They even got the coroner working overtime. Say, did you see the beaut that come in today?
Did I?
She's the one that has the coroner doing the night work.
What, special autopsy?
Must be. I wonder who that old Santa Claus is.
I must get her out of here. She must have oxygen. Oh. Unlock the side door and back up the cart. But watch out for the guard. And as soon as he's out of the way, we'll take her out of here.
You say the corpse of the young woman has been stolen?
Yes, and it sure has me puzzled. Why, Mike thought I took it.
I'd have swore it was the coroner himself.
There must have been a very strong resemblance.
Yeah, he was the dead image of him. And talked like him, too.
Oh, you talked to him?
No, he was talking to some other old fellow there that looked like Santa Claus, as I said to Jake. He had whiskers and bushy hair, and his eyes was wild, and it must have been some other two fellas.
Could you positively identify if you saw the party?
I wouldn't swear to anything now after being so sure to the coroner.
You know, Mike's description is very much like your friend Meyer Schultz. Tell me, have you seen him of late?
Why, Dr. Meyer Schultz is really a great research scientist. Why, he has formulated some amazing methods for preserving gland extracts in the most potent state. He's no body snatcher.
Well, doctors and scientists often have some queer things in their mind. Anyway, I'll look into it.
Go easy, Jones. I wouldn't like to offend the doctor.
Don't worry. I'll do nothing to embarrass you.
Thank you.
Captain, what'll I do about this?
Collins, see if you have anything there on Don Maxwell. Last heard from in this city. Impersonations, vaudeville. Yeah.
Okay, Cap. Let's see what we got in our files on Don Maxwell.
With 24 hours complete rest, she will recover. Think of it. Life, like in a body that's sought oblivion. It's uncanny. The possibilities terrify me. But not one word out. This is but a step. Cases like this has the element of doubt. What I want is a victim with a shattered heart. Yes, a heart that I can replace with this beating thing I have forced life back into. You will get me such a victim, Maxwell. It will be my supreme accomplishment. Not from the morgue. They'll get suspicious. I don't care.
from the morgue, from the streets, the undertaker. Get one! The end will justify the means.
The undertaker, around the corner. That gangster shot today. Just the thing.
Where is it? I couldn't get it. Coward! Oh, you fool! You have failed me in the greatest moment of my life! I have it. You know my powers. You have worked with me. You have faith in me. Here, take this. Take it and take your life, and I will give it back to you. My living heart shall beat in your body and will live again. Only think of it. You will live. You will live. Live. Murder. Murder. And of my benefactor. Horrible. You have so much to give the world.
But has he? Why should the unconscious peace of the dead be disturbed? Isn't the spark that moves the maggot the self-same spark that moves the man? Preserving that spark in the individual is not important. What we do with the spark while we have it is important. In Meyer Schultz, the spark is gone. In Maxwell, it lives. This may come in handy. But nothing to bring him back. I'd better hide him.
Dr. Meyer-Schultz, please.
He isn't here.
How terrible. It's so very urgent. Will you tell him that Mr. Buckley is having positively alarming hallucinations? Why, he thinks he's the orangutan murderer in Poe's murder of the Rue Morgue. Tell the doctor I must have some definite help. I'll go get him and bring him in.
No, don't do that. Meyer-Schultz would be missed. Maxwell never would. Not only do I look like Meyer-Schultz, I am Meyer-Schultz. I will be a great man. I'll give him a shot to relieve the nerve tension. May help him. We'll try that first.
Take off your coat.
super adrenaline. No, not that. Water. That will do no harm. And I will be rid of them.
And now, you'll feel better.
Slipping. Doctor, he seems to be getting worse instead of better.
Oh. Stealing through my body. Creeping through my veins. Pouring in my blood. Oh, darts of fire in my brain. Stabbing me. Agony. I can't stand this torture, this torment. I can't stand it. I won't. I won't. I won't.
What was in that hypo? He's dead. Doctor, what have you done? This looks like murder.
No. Not murder. My assistant shot himself.
Shot himself? When? Why, I only saw him an hour ago. Why didn't you call the police?
No, not the police. I wanted to bring him back to life. I wanted to experiment on him. In fact, I must. I can restore him.
You shot your assistant just to experiment on him? Dr. I have often heard of your uncanny experiments, but this tops them all. But I think we speak the same language. Am I right?
Well, I just don't get what you mean, the same language.
We have a common interest. When you bring your assistant back to life, his mind will do as you direct. You can do the same to Buckley. Then he will do as I direct.
Buckley saw that body. The police. If they should come, I must bring him back. I'll find that formula.
Kitty, kitty. Kitty, 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 kitty.
Oh, howdy, Doc. Say, a couple of my cats got away. You seen them anywhere?
Of course not. What would I want with your cats?
Oh, well, I didn't know. I thought maybe, you might use them for, well, some experiments or something.
Me, cats? Never. Oh, that is, I think too much of Satan to use cats for experiments.
Oh, well, that's what I thought, and... Well, no harm meant, Doc. Well, so long.
What am I going to do?
The police will be here any minute. I must dispose of the body. I'll hide it. I'll burn it.
No. I can't do that.
The basement. Satan, the gleam. You wretch, stand between me and salvation, will you?
Why? It's not unlike an oyster.
Or a grape. But the gleam is gone.
Do you know Dr. Meyer Schultz and his assistant, Don Maxwell?
Sure. They're sort of queer, I'd say. There's lots of queer goings-on up there. Why, they even brought a dead dog back to life once.
Well, that sounds very remarkable to me.
It may be, but to my notion, those that monkeys with what they got no business to gets queer sooner or later.
Maybe you're right.
I know I am. Why, I even heard a shot up there last night.
Why didn't you notify the police?
That's their business, not mine.
I understand from your neighbors that your cats are making noise at night. Dr. Meyer Schultz has complained.
Yeah, he's been stealing my cats for his experiments. I know. I've been spying on him.
How many cats have you? What's the matter, rats?
Oh, thousands of them. Right here in my backyard.
Thousands?
Yeah, I got 1,000 cats, too. Want to see them?
What's the idea? You sell them?
No. It's my own idea. I'm in the business. Fur business.
Oh, I see. Cat's fur.
You get it quick.
Where do the rats come in?
You ain't as quick as I thought. Look. You see, I figured out that rats breed faster than cats. And cat skins makes good fur. Cats eat rats. And rats eat raw meat. That is, they eat the carcasses of the cats. So, the rats eat the cats eat the rats, and I get the skins.
Well, rats eating cats? Well, that is news.
Simple, ain't it?
Say, by the way, did you hear a shot last night?
Maybe. I don't know.
Hey, Maisie, we know you're hard-boiled. You don't have to stay in the water 30 minutes to prove it.
Oh, let me alone. I may not be decent, but I'm sure gonna be clean.
Say, if anyone is entitled to the first place in that bathroom, it should be me. Didn't I sign the register and welcome you all as secret guests? If it wasn't for nervy little Alice, you'd all be sinking your weary bones into the soft recesses of some park bench with light, fleecy coverlets made by the great American press.
Press? That reminds me, I have pressing business.
Here's one for the book. Sandwich man pounding pavements walks onto a wallet with 42 grand in it.
I'd like to find that man.
Maybe we could sandwich him in. Can you imagine? The darn fool turned it in. His head must be a jelly bean instead of what they thought it was. Well, it sure was soft, all right. But would it be soft to land on 42 grand? Yeah, but listen, after he turned it in, people made such a fuss over him that he went nutty. Thought he was the Almighty in person. So that's what being honest gets you. A nice, soft, padded cell in the bug house. La cucaracha, la cockroacha, dum-da-da-da-da-dum. It's pretty tough. Imagine the poor guy. I'll bet nobody noticed him all his life. And then? Say, wasn't there some guy in history that spent all his life looking for an honest man?
Sure, in his day, men were men. But today, they're too scared to be anything but honest.
Yeah, but a brave guy can sure get away with plenty.
Say, you must have been reading the papers. Or maybe you've been drinking crazy water and your head's wriggling. Be yourself, Alice. Playing the heavy don't suit you.
Oh, it's getting me down. Always broke and never a break.
Why don't you ditch that ham and pick yourself a rich husband?
Rich husband? I've heard they come that way.
Not very often.
Often enough, but not our way.
Oh, the girl has brains. We don't have to put a zipper on her skull to prove it either.
Alice, listen to this. Don Maxwell, personality impersonator, gets lucky break.
Why, that's your husband, ain't it?
Pipe down, will ya? Let her read it.
By queer quirk of fate, actor falls heir to Australian estate. This paper is trying to find him. He used to be around in vaudeville days, but we haven't heard much of him lately.
The lucky ham. From now on, he'll have the company of a good egg.
Will wonders ever cease?
Say, I wonder if he's still with that goofy professor. He's inherited a fortune.
You say a fortune? He never spoke to me of any rich relative.
He hardly knew of them himself. I believe it was his uncle in Australia.
I am certainly glad to hear that. I'm sure he'll be pleased.
Oh, but don't tell him. You see, I want to tell him the news first.
Oh, that's only natural. Mrs. Maxwell, your husband will be here at 8 tonight.
All right.
It was in Meyer Schultz's eyes when he wanted to murder me. It was in Mrs. Buckley's eyes when she wanted to murder her husband. Alice had the gleam in her eye when she wanted to find me. She'd murder me. That's what she wants to do. I must get rid of her. Mrs. Buckley. She will help. She must help.
Oh, we are lost.
You are right. But before I can get him back here, you will have to help me. Mrs. Maxwell is crazy and will be here any minute. She thinks that I murdered her husband. Wants to turn me over to the police. We must keep her subdued till I can get Buckley. Down in the basement is a secret vault. We will put her down there. You quiet her by jabbing this in her arm. And in the meantime, I will go get Buckley.
It sounds all right. Except the fact she's crazy. It seems to me she has the right idea.
So you feel that way, too? Stay in there. I'll call you when needed. At last, I have really secure living for us. We can travel or anything we want.
Then you knew of the inheritance?
Sure. I've one little job to accomplish, and then we can leave together. No doubt you were surprised at this disguise?
Oh, no. I wouldn't be surprised at anything from you.
Now, honey, You were here in time to help me.
I knew there was a catch in this someplace. But spill it.
In the other room, I have a crazy woman I've been treating.
Ha ha! So you've been treating.
Quiet, will you? Now, this is serious. Our lives are in danger.
What do you mean, are?
That's what I said. Now, listen to me. I want you to help me take this woman downstairs. I'll give her a shot. Then you take care of her till I get help.
Well, how about me getting the help? She's quiet now, isn't she?
Yes, but she'll break out any minute. She's not afraid of a woman. So if she happens to get wild, just shove this into her arm. Now keep it hid, and all will be well.
All right, Mrs. Buckley. We will go downstairs now.
I have a special treatment room there.
Look in that room, Parker. You come with me, Finney. I've got orders to search this place and take everyone in it down to headquarters for questioning. What is that?
Nothing. A couple of my patients having a little argument.
Take me down there.
It won't do any good. There are a couple of would-be murderers fighting it out.
Man, you're crazy. What kind of a place is this?
Oh, I'm crazy, am I? Oh, let me tell you something. Those women have the gleam.
No, you can waste some time.
Oh, that will be.
All right, get it going.
Quiet down.
What's behind this wall? Finney, tear this wall down.
Murderous Satan. The wretch that ate my soul fired. He still has the gleam.
Why, he's crazy.
They drove me to it, I tell you. They drove me with hunger, with misery and humiliation. I only wanted to amuse, to entertain. But here I am, spent my life in perfecting an art that no one wanted. No one appreciated. I showed them Dr. Marshall, a real impersonation. Meyer Schultz, my supreme impersonation.